Hi, this is Mel Finelli, and you're watching Live at Rock. Live and Rock, sorry.
There's the outtake.
Live and Rock. Creative show for creative
Artists cannot be comfortable stuck in one box. That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 17 of Live and Rock, and we are
rocking live right here.
right. So I hope I'm in
Where am I
camera
looking?
2 shot.
What are we doing?
This is our main camera right here.
Okay.
This is camera 1. That's camera 2. So if you feel like going to camera 2, feel free. Alright, it's a secondary shot that we'll just use if we feel like it. This is the creative show for creative souls, bringing you insight to that creative life. As you can see, we have another guest here, but I'm your host, CDH Live. This is my bigger bro.
Your yin to your yang, or the yin to your yang, Mr. Shell Rock. And I'm rocking live with our first guest of the year, Miss Camera Shy. That's what it is.
My name is Melanie.
Mel
Finell.
Mel Finell. That's we put that up.
This guy's claiming copyright. Anyways, go on.
Anyway, yeah, we just recorded a pretty hot episode for our first guest of the year. We did a full hour and change conversation. As you can see from what's in front of us here, Mel Finelli is a Lego artist. She's also a painter. And we had some heated debate and discussion about...
We had a heated discussion about the role of, race and gender in arts and entertainment, specifically because I have a race and our guest has a gender. And these two qualities happen to pop up in pop culture lately in a little thing that we all love, which is Star Wars. And this one here, oh my gosh. She is, contrary to what her face may display, she is a fanatic of the Force. Yeah. Would you say that? Is that fair to say?
I am very strong with the Force.
Yeah, you are strong with the Force. So we talked about, what did you think about the fact that there was a female lead in Force Awakens?
Well, when the movie was first announced and we knew that Rey was going to be a main character and with Finn, I was like, cool, a new Star Wars movie is coming out. And it wasn't until a year later when someone was like, there is a female and a black male as a lead in Star Wars, that I went, oh, that is an observation I never separated that. And to me it wasn't, it's still not a big deal, but it was completely mind-blowing at how passionate people were about pointing this
out. How important it was,
and for me, it's not. I still just see it as, Rey is a main character. I don't see her differently, or I don't point at the fact that she's a female. It's absolutely amazing that she is.
But what you did point out, Mel, is how expansive the Star Wars universe is, opening my eyes, but also kind of shutting down Mr. Shellrock, because he was like, no, when a character is a certain thing, they should always be that thing, and we shouldn't be recasting.
I stand by it. Keep it authentic. The way the character was written, Johnny Storm is blazing red hair, Caucasian, and Green Lantern, Jon Stewart is, just like Will Smith. He's like the cool black dude. Yo, that's what it is. I'm sorry.
I don't know. The thing is, though, there is definitely people who will change your mind because they'll make the role so much better.
Yeah, that's debatable.
And
So in Iron Man, the partner who wears the gray suit.
War Machine.
Okay, War Machine. Was he a black man in the comics?
Yes, Rhodey was black. Go check it out. Sorry. So anyway, but to her credit, she did drop some serious knowledge on Mr. CDH Live during the audio show. Got really deep, dropped some details. So she really is a fan, not only of Star Wars, but a lot of many other things. And she inspires us with her art. As you can see, Lego art that she does, and a lot of it is fan related.
Indeed. And we went into an in-depth conversation with Mel Finelli about the art, but as you said, she inspired us, and it's also kind of empowering, which is what we like to do in a section we call Suit Up. So we're going to take a second, and we're going to make sure you guys get suited up.
Yes, and today's Suit Up section is actually going to be brought to you by the amazing Shifter Magazine, who's shiftermagazine.com, which is all about empowering independent artists of all kinds, all mediums. Check them out. If you want articles, reviews, and how-tos, that's the place to be. Today, what we're going to empower you with is, what is it called?
We call it Spreaker. Actually, we don't call it that. That's what it's called. Spreaker is the platform we use for our audio podcast.
Yep.
It is available on mobile. It's available on desktop. It's going to allow you to create engaging, rich media content for your audience to grow. And Shell Rock was really excited about it. Why was that?
Well, most importantly, it's going to hit you from two sides. So, from the creative side, if you're out there and you want to do a podcast, it's very flexible, allows you to podcast live, real time. You can import your playlist of background music or sound effects, and you can do all that on your phone and record live no matter where you are. But they also have a computer app which allows you, I should have had that up as well. Anyways, it allows you to do all of that and more monitoring. But the other side of it is the fact that you can find great podcasts to inspire you. So we were talking about the podcasts like Live and Rock you can find on their app. You can find other great podcasts like Music Biz Weekly. If you're a musician out there and you want information to how to make it in the music business, that's another great one. But the bottom line is it's a huge community of podcasts, great podcasts you can find out there through the Spreaker app. Check them out at Spreaker.com. Speaker with an R in the middle. And you got it right there.
Well, that's what it is, people. This is what we do. It's Live and Rock. We're chilling here with a Lego artist. How many of you guys know a Lego artist that you can sit and chill with?
Probably a lot. They're just not very open.
How many of you knew that Lego wasn't art? Bet you didn't know that.
That's true.
There you go.
And not only that, but it's an art that's being taken over by storm by females. The female Lego artist. So
It's become so big. Like I'm so surprised on a daily basis the amount of people who are starting to use Lego as a medium.
Yeah.
The amazing things that communities are doing together.
Yeah.
Habitat for Humanity just built a life-size house
Shut
made out
the
of bricks.
front door.
And it's all to support, different causes and to get people talking about Lego or other forms of brick as an art. And there are tons of stuff. Like I've seen condos. They're trying to advertise for their units, so they'll build it out of Lego.
What?
Yeah. Or advertising. Like I did advertising for the Lego Movie around Toronto.
Yeah.
So I built large scale Unikitties, a character that was in
from the Lego movie. Yeah.
And those were all around movie theaters, and it was on breakfast television. So it's really become a huge thing that people are starting to recognize.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a very difficult hobby to get into because although one of the things that I love talking to people about is making amazing creations with details at a larger scale.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a crazy amount of Lego, and it doesn't have to be very large in order for it to be significant.
Yeah.
Like something like this is, even though it has a lot of detail and quite a lot of pieces, it's still very small. This is considered a micro scale build.
Yeah.
And a lot of these parts you can find in just regular sets that you can buy from the store.
Okay.
Of course, like I've been building my collection for the past couple of years, but it's still not a very big collection.
Yeah.
And so what I always try to do is to make these micro scales, but have a lot of detail in it. Something that people can look at multiple different areas and pick and choose the stuff that they like. And that's what a lot of people are starting to do is they realize that Lego is very expensive. Mm-hmm. It's a very expensive hobby to get into, but getting, a set or two and creating something else with those pieces is really what a true artist is able to do, is to use the medium they have.
And that's a good thing to kind of talk about. What we were highlighting in our conversation is how it went from hobby to actually being a career path.
Right.
And you had a really powerful story about how that sort of switch was turned for you from thinking that, this is just something I do as a hobby to this is something I can actually do with my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
So share a little bit of how that journey was changed for you.
Yeah, so I was in university and I was taking psychology as a major and visual arts as a minor, mostly for the sanity of it. I wanted to do something I liked while I was in school because I was forcing myself to do something that even though I really loved, I wasn't 100% interested in. I knew that psychology was a great career to get into.
Yeah.
And for years I had my professors always saying, Mel, why don't you become an artist? And I laughed. I thought it was hilarious. Like that you can't build a life on an artist career. And even though it's very difficult, it wasn't until I was in my fourth year university, I was taking a creative psychology of creativity class, and I had this 80-year-old professor. He was such a little old cute man, and in front of 1,000 people he pointed me out. He said, if money didn't matter today, what would you be doing? You wouldn't be here, so what would you be doing? And I said, I'd be painting and playing with Lego. And he turned to me and he said, well, why not do that as something, why not make what you love into a career? And it completely opened my eyes. I finished school, I got my degree, but I was applying for med school, and I was actually, in the process of getting it, and I quit it all. I just said, this isn't what I want to do.
And that's I'm gonna cut you there because it was such a powerful story, and in this video show we want to emphasize to you guys that the audio is where you're gonna get the full story. So check out liveandrock.com to hear the full audio version and so much more that Mel had to share with us. We want to say also you can get her art and find out about what she's doing at
Mel Fin Art.
Yeah,
that's correct.
And that's on Etsy, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook and all of that good
Just
stuff.
Google it, Mel Fin Art, and you can't go wrong.
That's what it is. This is what we do here at Live and Rock every week. Shout out to Shifter Magazine, again, your online place for articles and how-tos. Shout out to Marlo Flex, who's behind the camera right now. Shout out to Stubbs. I'm always doing shout outs.
You want to shout out? Get my
Our shout out to my dog Faye, my boyfriend Jeff, and my sister. She just celebrated her birthday. Happy birthday!
Yes.
No doubt. One more shout out to Sweet for giving us that hail up last week, and everybody else who's tuning in right now.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. And we want to say, it's 2016, so whatever you've been planning, whatever you've been thinking about, if you're ready or not, as long as you're alive, if you're gonna live,
You might as well